Alright guys, I'm going to go over some simple building concepts. First off is going to be using the paint gun while you're building. That might seem counterintuitive, however, if you use the paint all function, that actually mimics a damage spread. So right here we have the smallest shields, spammed. At first glance this might seem like a good way to build up the HP of a certain part of your robot. However, if I hit the block here, you'll see that pretty rapidly all the shields are turned red. That means they're all destroyed without actually having to do damage to them. And that could be 1 or 2 laser hits that would actually destroy all those shields. Over here we see a common placement of these shields, and a lot of shields can be placed like this. Well, what happens is when you destroy one, you'll often destroy both. See how rapidly the second shield turns red? Now over here we have the same shields. However, it takes much longer and much more damage for that damage to get to that shield. And this is the core of damage routing. Because right here, the shield's connection points are separated, meaning damage takes far longer to get to that second shield. This is a useful tool for seeing which part of your bots will detach and suffer disconnect damage, because the red numbers you see when you're shooting an enemy bot is actually any disconnect damage that equals double what your weapon is capable of. And often this can be a lot more than double, as you can see with this and this. Alright, that's it for this part. Now we'll move on to the next part. Alright guys, next I'll be covering some basics on hovers. Now a lot of times I see people building hovers. They have their hovers on the outside of their bots, unarmored. They lose them very quickly, and I'm going to cover what's called hover packing, and that's building armor around your hovers and building your hovers internally. So there's more than one way to do this, but I'm going to show you the ways that I commonly use. For the smallest hover, it's the most easily packed. Once it's packed, there's very little empty space. Empty space in a bot amounts to easy damage once you start taking a lot of damage. So with this, you can see I use these right here, and that locks it in. I can then cover that up, and there's very little, there's only 2 blocks of empty space where this hover is. Next up, it's very similar. You got the 4 corners, and then it's a little bit longer than the smallest hover, and so you use one of those corners right there. Next, in the back, those can be used on all of the hovers, including this hover, the largest one. And then you use the curved corners. That lets you pack it in very tight also. This lets you pack it in to, again, only 2 blocks of empty space. Next hover, put those in the corners. It's not nearly as tight. The larger your hover, the harder it is to pack tightly in armor, all the way up to the largest regular hover. Now I don't show the legendary or the tier 5 hover anymore, because there's no effective way to pack that in armor, and it pretty much has to be either only lightly covered or not covered at all because of how large it is. But that's just the basics of hover packing, and we'll go on to the next part of this. Alright guys, in this part I'm going to cover a simple building of rotors for wallcopters and how to place the rotors side by side for the tightest pack possible. So you're going to take your rod long, and grab your rotor, now here's the trick. The lamp is only half a block tall, and it is the only cube that can be placed right here. Take your rotor, place it on the lamp, and you now have the tightest pack that you can get with 2 rotors placed side by side. I always like to use at least 2 connection points. That way damage is distributed amongst two rods. That way a single rod hit won't take off your rotor. Additionally, as you can see, if this rotor takes damage and is destroyed, the damage pathing will take it back to here, and it's likely not going to destroy the connection points for the other rotor. Now for your other blades, you can just do this again as soon as you can. You can stick a single blade down here as close as you can, and then have one further up on your copter. There's a lot of ways you can do it, but this is the basic way that I do it. And this is how you place them side by side. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.